So what do you think, Bill? Do we love our coffee or what?
I think we've got enough appliances here.
And gadgets. But you know, if you don't have a coffee shop like right next door to you, or if you want to save some time and some money, some of these items that we have you're going to absolutely love. So let's talk about a few of them, and it all starts in just a few seconds. So Bill, let's start with a very simple, kind of inexpensive cup of coffee. And I just had a couple of my girlfriends over here. They just can't wait for Barista Bill here to make his famous coffee. And Bill, why don't you take it away and show people how it's done?
Well, this is my favorite part right now. Heather mentioned her friends were over and I made my French press coffee and they just loved it. So I'm going to give you a little quick demonstration here and it's so easy to do it too. So easy to do it. So first thing, we got to boil the kettle. Have the water boiled. So that's already done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make coffee just, let's say, for Heather and I. So I'm using the small French press here. This is, you can get maybe 2.5 cups of coffee out of this. So now we're going to grind the beans, and I do the grinding. Everything is fresh. Now this is a fairly inexpensive grinder, and it's a perfect size for what we need. So let's get some of the beans ground. You may notice here I do have a little bit of ground beans done, but I'm going to make some more here, fresh ones.
So Bill, we usually like our coffee a bit stronger too, right? So
that's correct.
Is there a particular setting on that grinder that you put it at?
Yes, we have it on coarse, and that's better for the grinding, the French press. And of course, you said, do we like it stronger, the coffee? The beans I'm using, again, you can get these anywhere. You can order them online, you can get them at your local coffee shop. We use a dark roast beans, and we like that better. It gives a little more flavor for us anyways. So I've got the beans poured in now, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but
Can we see how you poured them in there, where they're at?
Sure.
There's a max or something? Oh, I see. There's a little maximum right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't fill it too high.
Right.
So we just put enough beans in there, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So I have it set for coarse rather. And what we're going to do...
We're probably going to speed this up too.
Oh yeah, we'll speed it up. It's going to be a little noisy, but there we go. It only takes about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 seconds. And we're done. It was actually about 30 seconds, but still.
And it automatically turned off.
Yeah, it depends on what ones you buy. The one we have here will automatically turn off when the beans are ground. So, what we're going to do, it comes into this little container here. Sometimes a little bit will fall off the back. I always just give it some gentle taps. Now, I purchased this little container. You can buy at any kitchen store. It's airtight. So what I usually do first is I get the coffee and I get it into my container. That way I have some left over for later on. Now, what we're going to do now is, I said we're going to make it in this size Bodum.
Or French press.
Or French press, yeah, there's different names for them.
And they're pretty inexpensive, right? About $30 or something like that for a French press?
For the French press, it can range from, it's around $30, I guess.
And you get a larger size too.
We have the larger one too when we have guests over, like Heather's friends came over. And what we'll do is we'll put the links down below in the description for you so you can get an idea and see what we're talking about. So now I'm just going to make the coffee for Heather and I, so that's why we're using this size of French press. So I have a secret amount of, of coffee we put in. And I always give it a little tap there too. Now I'm going to put in, there's 1, 2, we might speed this up a bit and I'll tell you the final count. And 9. But I also, I put in a little bonus. And that's what sets me apart from everybody else. It's that little bonus. So you try that too. Find the right amount of coffee because it's all personal taste. Some of you might want 6. Some of you may want 12 in this size French press. But find your taste that you like and then add that little bonus. Guarantee you, you're going to love it. Okay. So we've got that in, giving it a little shake. I've just boiled the kettle, the water in the kettle. So let's pour that in. There we go. So I bring it up to, usually there's like a metal strap that goes around on the top. I usually bring it up to about that. I'll give it a few seconds for it to kind of set. And then I'm going to get the crust off the top by just giving it a nice little stir. So that's down there. And we're going to put the top on it. Now here's the key to making the French press coffee. Give it about 2 minutes to just, I guess you'd say steep maybe, like you do with tea. Give it a couple minutes and then you can push it down. So we'll be right back to you in 2 minutes. All right, that was a quick 2 minutes. Anyways, when you push it down, just make sure you do a slow, steady press on it. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. Oh, I can smell the flavor.
Unfortunately, you wore black today, and we can't really see what the bottom looks like. Can you just sort of hold it up or something?
So the rim is up here, this little metal strap that goes around. Usually I bring it up to that. Any higher would be too full. And like you just saw, I pressed it down slow and steady. And now, I wish you could smell this. It just smells incredible right now, that fresh ground coffee. So, let's start serving it. I take mine black. I put a little bit of sugar in. Heather takes hers with some cream or milk or half and half. So let's, now this, oh, I hope you can hear this too. It sounds just delicious as it tastes. Oh. Where have you been all my life?
Here, I'll take that here, Bill.
There we go.
And I guess what you can probably see in the in here is there's a little bit of almost, I think they call it crema on top. It's just a little bit of cream or something that is at the top. Perfect. And it's absolutely delicious. I think I'm going to have some.
Hey, that's mine.
So Bill's done all the hard work showing us how to do the French press coffee, and this is the larger version. This is usually our morning version of coffee, and it's actually from this morning. We drink a lot of coffee in the morning to get going, especially me. But anyway, what I want to show you is how about an iced coffee, and because this is a little strong, it really makes a nice iced coffee. Now I'm just going to pour, hopefully you can see this, a little bit of cream in here. Just like that. And then I'm just going to pour, I didn't put this in the fridge, you could put it in the fridge, I think the ice is going to be good enough, and it can sit for a while out. So it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and I'm just going to pour myself a really nice iced coffee, and you can see how you've got the layering going here. And again, having the right cups is really, really important. So cheers. So I still have a little bit of coffee left to show you, and of course you guys know I love my Vitamix. It's excellent with ice, and one of my favorite things to get at the coffee shop, especially when the weather starts getting warmer, are those kind of, I think they're called Frappuccinos. So let me just start, iced cappuccinos, something along those lines. Now whenever you use something like your blender, you always put in the liquid first. So again, this is just cold coffee that I have going in here. I do love my cream, so I'm going to put a little bit of cream in there. And hey, why not? You don't get this most of the coffee shops around. Let's put in a little bit of Bailey's. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, a little bit of Bailey's there. Now, these are the kind of things that you do want to go to the coffee shop for. And you're noticing I'm not talking about the pods. You know, the coffee makers with the pods. And that's because you sometimes can't get this, what I'm going to make here with the ice in it and the Frappuccinos. Also, they do add up in price if you really start adding them up per serving. I just watched a show last night and they were saying that it was $1.25 a cup of coffee. So anyway, you know, add it up a little bit. And I know some of these items are investments, but you know what, to tell you the truth, I use this for a lot of other things. Where's the cap? Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. All All right, now let's get going on this, and all you have to do is make sure that's on good. There we go, and turn it on. Off we go, and then super duper turbo. Now that will absolutely emulsify, I think is the word, of those ice cubes. So you're not going to get big chunks of ice cubes. And some people like to put whipped cream on it. I just find it really frothy. Look at that. See how thin that is and how it's not in the pour? You're not getting big chunks of ice or anything like that. And that makes for a wonderful, wonderful cup of coffee. So let's talk about espressos and cappuccinos and lattes. And one of the things that's important if you're making this is make sure you've got the right kind of cups. You know, that would obviously be for an espresso. And make sure that you've got, you know, maybe even a little saucer underneath. It's always lovely to be pouring like that. For me, cafe latte, I like the big ones. So now, I'm going to show you a large machine in just a moment. It's the one that Bill and I use all the time. But you can get the stove type version, and here's a picture of one right here, and they sell for about $20 or $30 on Amazon. Again, I'll put the link there. And other people I have seen on YouTube also make their espresso coffee. You have to have the espresso beans. Now this happens to be McCafe, and actually McDonald's makes pretty good coffee. Espresso dark roast. So this is what we're using right now. We just use all different kinds. You can get them from Starbucks or a lot of the local coffee shops as well, and get the beans, okay? Bill showed you how to grind the beans, and what they do is they put the espresso beans in the French press, but they only put a little bit of water in it, and then again it's according to your taste, and then they put the plunger down, and they have themselves really quite an espresso tasting cup of coffee there. But let us show you what we use. We absolutely love it, and let's go there. So the machine we love is this Seiko one, and there's different kinds of makes, and yes, it's about $1,000 or maybe a little bit less, but it lasts forever and ever, and we absolutely love it for making espressos and cappuccinos and lattes. Now, all you need to do is you just put water in here. So we've put some really nice water in there, and this just goes in the, now every make is different. That just goes on the side there, and you push it in like that. Ooh, making a sound. Now for the top, we're just going to pour the beans in. It's getting ready right now. And Bill, can you see the top of this here, just about to there? All right, so maybe get a little bit into the machine so they can see that I've put the espresso beans right inside there. Now there is an adjustment here for how strong you would like the coffee, and also an adjustment here for how big the cup is. So, you know, there's a little espresso, there's a smaller one. I'm just going to use this large one here, and all we have to do is just, it's all ready to go, so let's just turn it on. It's automatically grinding the, oh, sorry, already grinding the beans in there. I guess it didn't want my fingers to get in the grinder. And after just a few seconds, you're going to see the wonderful coffee coming out, espresso coffee. And you can sort of see the crema happening on top. Oh, it's incredible. All right, so I've got a beautiful cup of coffee there, so you can see the crema on top of it, but I'm not finished yet. I'm just going to do one with a see-through so you can see how beautifully dark the roast is on this. And also, because it comes out of two spouts here, a lot of times, you know, when you're doing a little tiny cup like this, you may want to put it into a Pyrex kind of dish here. So you can see that's a really nice dark roast there coming through. And I'm just going to actually pour this into the little tiny cup for an espresso, and into this little tiny cup as well. So here we go, all done. So now I can just have my espresso in here. And another one. And I don't worry about it just being a mess under there because that cup was too small. All right, so what about frothing the milk for the cappuccinos and the lattes, warming up the milk? Well, I gotta tell you, I don't like these things. I've never had much luck with them. So you could sort of get one of these. I think you've probably seen these, you know, these little ones that mix up milk, or they're little stirrers. But what I love, I absolutely love, are these automatic ones. And what they can do is they can keep the milk cold, they can make it hot or piping hot, and all you do is just plug it in and just say, oh, I think I want that. This thing, I don't know if Bill can go inside and take a look, it starts actually frothing the milk for you and warming it up at the same time. So all I'm doing is I'm using this machine, I'm making, you know, my latte or my cappuccino, and this is kind of going on in the background here, and I absolutely love it. So that's done, and that machine isn't really that expensive either. And you know what, when you're looking at a lot of these machines and gadgets, you might just say to yourself, well, that's a lot of money. But you know what, if you start really adding up how much coffee you're buying at the coffee shop, and you know, for your treats and all that sort of thing, it really does add up over a year anyway. But take a look at that frothing. Now, I put this on hot, so it's steaming hot right now. But if I put it on cold, can you imagine, remember that iced coffee that I made? Let's just say that you don't want to have all those calories with a whipped cream. You could do something like this, and it just adds that little something something, but because it's 2% milk, you're not really adding a lot more, you know, not a lot more calories anyway. Also, we can put a little bit here on this particular coffee. And one more thing I just want to mention just before I close up here, and well, we've got to bring Hurricane in, talk about other videos and that. Don't forget the little extras, all right? The little spoons that you could put out, you know, the little sugars and all of that sort of thing. Maybe a little pastry, or a little cookie, or something along those, a biscotti. How about a biscotti? So there you go. We got a coffee shop right in our home. So one thing about making coffee like this, it's really a wonderful everyday experience. And talking about a wonderful everyday experience, our little Hurricane, and he's always at the end of the videos to sort of let you know that there's more videos coming up and what they are. And don't forget, this is our second channel. So if you haven't subscribed to this, there's a subscribe, and then there's a bell. Click on the bell, and we are so happy that you're here. We're working really hard on these videos, and as a matter of fact, we actually went to Paris and London and Niagara Falls. Just take a look in the history of the videos, and if you haven't seen them, we'd love you to tag along with us. And don't forget, over at awesomeover50.com is still the beauty and fashion, and I just really kind of keep it real. And I also talk a little bit about, you know, how we can all feel younger, and I'm just so pro age, you know, at 64 years old, I just really want us all to celebrate each other. So there's a lot of inspirational messages over there too, and don't forget to subscribe there as well. So in finishing up this video, you know, life is a banquet, life is an experience, and why not get yourself a few gadgets to make up your own kind of coffee shop, invite a few friends over, and keep it awesome.